Hi everyone, it's Carol Bernadette Bosca of the Blueprint Group Practice, and welcome to today's video. We're going to be talking about consistency of sales, of selling. So I thought I'd start off with an analogy. Now, I don't know how many people watching this are drivers, but quite a few years ago, just a few, about 30 years ago, 30 years ago, I passed my driving test. Now, I didn't get in the car, took one lesson and said, oh, well, I can't pass my driving test. It doesn't work. I'm not going to bother to do it. I knew that I was going to have to take a series of lessons and that I was going to have to go through a test at the end of those lessons. And if I did everything right, I would get my certificate for my driving, and then I would be legally able to drive on the road without having a driver in the passenger seat like a driving instructor. Now, I didn't pass my driving test first time. In fact, I passed the third time. But what happened was, after the first time I took it and I failed, I was a bit disappointed, without a shadow of a doubt, but I didn't give up, because I knew that I would get there in the end. Well, that's a little bit like selling. Selling is a little bit like driving. You know, the difference between selling and driving is you have to sell if you want to grow a business. And if you want to have a business, you've got to sell. There is no two ways about it. But what happens a lot of the time is people go out and they sell and they don't have any lessons. You know, they're not taking any instruction from anyone on how to sell. And not everyone is a natural seller. Some people are incredibly good at what they do. They're really passionate about helping people, but they just don't know how to have that sales conversation. They don't know how to go from having a normal conversation and turn it into a sales conversation without feeling icky or manipulative. They don't know how to have a sales conversation that feels truly authentic for themselves. That's where you need to learn about how to do your selling, how to have those conversations so that actually you can have them with ease and it makes you feel great and you get the result that you want, which is the most important thing. So when you start off selling, you can feel a bit nervous, just like you can when you're driving, but you keep practicing and you get better and better. And just like driving, there are little bumps along the road. You know, the probability when you're driving, at some point you're going to have a prang in your car, it's going to break down, but you get over those little bumps. You know, you call out like the roadside assistance, or you get your car towed away and you get it repaired, and as awful as it is at the time, you get through that. And that's the same with selling. You know, you are going to hit some little bumps in the road. You might start off a bit nervous and you get confident in your selling, and then you hit that little bump in the road and it sort of like takes you back a couple of steps, but you've still got to keep going. Remember, this is your business. This is the lifeblood of your business. So you've got to keep pushing yourself, because you know that one day it's going to get easy. That's the whole thing. One day it is going to get easy. Sometimes for people, what you need to have some lessons, just like in driving. I mean, I remember when I was driving, my dad started teaching me straight away. That was not a good move. You know, father and daughter in the car. I'm feeling really, really stressed. Not a good move. But then I got a driving instructor, and that driving instructor had a process, and they took you through a process of learning that was easy, and it built your confidence up. Some things I do with my clients, I take them through a sales process and I help them to build their confidence so that they can feel really good when they go out and have those sales conversations. And then what happens is they just keep practicing doing it and doing it. It gets better and better. And before they realize it, you know, they've got a full cadre of clients and they've got a wait list of people wanting to work with them. So the key to consistency of sales is you've got to keep selling all the time. Now, when you're selling, when you start off selling, it can take a lot out of you. Just like, can you remember your first driving lesson? You come back home and you feel pretty whacked. You know, it's taken a lot of emotion and concentration for that hour while you were driving. But then you go back and you do it again and it gets easier. And that's a little bit like selling. You know, the first time you can feel a bit nervous and you're not 100% sure if you're going to get it right. But the fact is you feel really good because you've done it. That's the beauty of it. Now, the reason why you need to sell all the time is because it's a little bit like driving. If you only had a lesson once every couple of months, it's going to take you forever to learn to drive. A little bit like selling. If you're selling once every couple of months, it's going to take you forever to really master it. But if you're selling all the time, then actually you start to get more used to it. Now, there are sales when you're doing big sales, big ticket items, and sales when you're perhaps doing small ticket items and everything else in between. And what I personally find, I'm not saying this is the way that you should do it and it's the only way you should do it, but one of the ways that I find really helps my clients, and I also do, is to have a flow. So I might be launching a big online program like my Sales Mastery. I might be launching that program, and that's quite intense for a few weeks. And then what happens afterwards is I might take a couple of days break after that huge launch. But then what I'm doing is I'm selling the next small little thing, which I can just easily do through social media or through email. It's not a biggie that requires lots of social media, lots of webinars. You know, I'm just doing something quite small. And I do the balance, you know, and it gives me space to take a breather and to recuperate from doing that launch. And then I can go back in and do another launch. So the key to this is a planning. So you want to make sure that you've got your year planned out. So I hope this has helped you around consistency of selling, and it's given you some ideas as to what you need to do. So take care, and I will see you in the next video. Bye for now.